It's yummy little seeds.
There's seeds in it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, can you see my
You want to eat it
screen?
or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Leanne, can I ask you to mute, please?
Oh, so sorry. I thought I was. I think she pushed it.
She wanted to be heard. Okay, so we're going to talk about head tension tonight. And what the heck is head tension, you might ask? You haven't been familiar with doTERRA for a while. We need to be compliant. So the reason we do that, I'm going to give you some annoying information here, is the FDA says, because they have not evaluated the statements that can be made about ailments, et cetera, we need to let everybody know that these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So in order to get around having to say head tension all night long, I put this here in my slides and I'm reading it out to you so you know I am not saying that these products are intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So tonight, for the purposes of my presentation, we're going to talk about migraines, migraine pain or headaches, and that is what head tension is for. And the information that I'm going to present to you, most of it was obtained from the Mayo Clinic website at www.mayoclinic.org. So you guys are welcome to go on there and verify any of the information that I present to you that doesn't have to do with oils or other doTERRA products. So what is a migraine? It's a headache that can cause severe throbbing pain or pulsing sensation, and it's usually on one side of the head. Isn't always, but it usually is. And it's often accompanied by nausea and or vomiting. You often experience sensitivity to light and sound. They can last for hours or days. The pain can be so severe that it interferes with your daily activity. And it often includes an aura or visual disturbances. You'll have flashes of light or blind spots, or a tingling on one side of your face or in an arm or a leg, when sometimes you'll have difficulty speaking. So what causes this? Well, they're not really sure yet. They're still trying to figure it all out. So those causes aren't fully understood, but they think genetics and environmental factors play a role. And changes in the brainstem and its interactions with the trigeminal nerve, which is a major pain pathway, could be involved. And I'm going to read you a little bit here about the trigeminal nerve, because it has to do with also some of the brain chemicals, such as serotonin, which helps to regulate pain in your nervous system. And researchers are studying other neurotransmitters that they think play a role in the pain of migraine too, which include calcitonin gene-related peptide, or CGRP. And CGRP, this is from the National Institutes of Health. Migraine is a neurovascular disorder associated with dysfunction of the cerebral nerves and blood vessels. It used to be years ago when I first started getting migraines, which I'm talking about almost 50 years ago now. It's right after my son was born, and he's going to be 48 in October. So they believed it was all vascular. They didn't think it had anything to do with any kind of neurotransmitters or brain chemicals at all. They just thought that it was all vascular. So now they think the primary dysfunction is in the brain, probably in the brain stem, which is important in regulating vascular tone and pain sensation. Migraine-specific triggers cause the primary brain dysfunction, and it causes dilation of the cranial blood vessels, which they've thought for a long time. And those are innervated by sensory fibers, which are on the trigeminal nerve. So can you see the picture here? I'm going to move my little box that's got all of you in it. You see this picture? You can see the trigeminal nerve is right here. It's right behind, really, it's right above the roof of your mouth. And you're going to hear me say in a couple of instances that a good way to relieve the effects of this head tension or these migraines is to put oils on your thumb and put it up on the roof of your mouth. And the reason for that is it gets immediately to that nerve, goes right up into there. So when that nerve is irritated, it activates a pain response, and it evokes the release of vasoactive peptides such as CGRP from those fibers that are attached to the nerve. So that's what they think now. And it's CGRP is postulated to be involved in several of the pathophysiological processes, including the dilation of the cerebral and dural blood vessels and the release of inflammatory mediators from mast cells and the transmission of nociceptive information from intracranial blood vessels to the nervous system. The CGRP is the most potent known peptidergic dilator of peripheral and cerebral blood vessels. So that's the reason that they think that's so important. It's an important discovery when it comes to what causes migraines. Okay, so what are some triggers and risk factors involved in migraine and even headache pain? Well, the triggers, one of the major ones is hormonal changes in women. And you notice it says women. We're not talking men here because men don't produce estrogen. We produce estrogen, and it has to do with fluctuations in estrogen, often in or around pregnancy and menopause, and in hormonal medications such as birth control pills. Another trigger is drinks, especially wine, alcohol, especially wine, or too much caffeine. And a little bit, you're gonna see that one of the recommendations to help with the pain is to drink a caffeinated drink, but you gotta know, don't drink too much of it. You don't wanna have too much of it because too much caffeine can make you actually have a migraine. Stress is a big trigger. That was the trigger for me. I had what they call post-stressor migraines. So I would be fine during whatever I was doing. That would be, I would be involved in that was causing my stress. I did a lot of performing when I was younger, and I would make it through all of our performances. And the night that the performances ended, then I would end up with a migraine and I would have it the next day. When I was seeing my neurologist, the only time I've actually seen a neurologist for my headaches, my daughter got married and I was planning a big reception for her, and I was fine until the day after the reception. And then I had a really huge, terrible migraine. So stress is a big, big trigger. Sensory stimuli is a trigger. If you have bright, it's a lot like people that have seizures or epilepsy. They're bothered by flashing lights and bright lights. Also strong smells, especially chemical smells, perfumes. You go to church and you sit behind somebody that's wearing a strong perfume. That can give me a headache, can trigger a headache for me. Chemical smells, bleach gives me a headache. Paint thinner, things like that. Strong chemical smells are often triggers. Sleep changes. If you are normally sleeping, you go to bed at 11 o'clock and you get up at 6 or 7, and you go out for a New Year's Eve party, saying you're out till 2 and don't go to bed till 2 in the morning, and you get up the next day at 10, that can trigger a migraine episode. Weather changes, big factor for me. I can tell you when we have a low pressure system coming in to Texas, because my head will start hurting. Also, allergens will affect me, especially molds, which are really high right now. So I'm really careful when the molds are high. I don't stay outside a lot. And when I come in, I be sure I take a shower and clean myself off really quickly, because, and I particularly don't go outside when someone's mowing the lawn, because that really kicks those molds up, and that can trigger a migraine in me. And foods and food additives. And I will say that probably one of the reasons I don't have them like I used to have them is I stopped drinking Diet Coke. I thought Diet Coke was a good thing. It had caffeine in it, but it also has aspartame. And that's a very strong trigger for migraines. Okay, so there can be 4 stages, and not everybody experiences all 4 stages. There's a prodrome stage, an aura, an attack, and postdrome. So we're not going to go into depth about a lot of them, but I will say the prodrome, sometimes you can tell when you're going to get a migraine. And you might not think about it until after you've had the migraine. You might think back and think, oh, I had some of these things going on then. Some of the subtle changes that you might notice that give you a warning are constipation, mood changes from depression to euphoria or the other way around, food cravings, neck stiffness, increased urination, fluid retention, and frequent yawning. I've had everything except the frequent yawning, I think. And of course, we do have oils that will help with those warnings, those little changes. If you're constipated, you can use Digest Zen. If you're having a mood change, use Adaptive. For your food cravings, you can use Deep Blue Rub, probably one of my most favorite things to use to relieve this type of condition. Celery seed oil for increased urination. And that's the ones that I have. For some people, an aura, which we already talked about, and can accompany the actual migraine. Sometimes that happens before. With some people, they get that before the migraine. And auras are reversible symptoms of the nervous system. And they're usually visual, but they can also be tactile or other sensory. They can have to do with smell too. The symptoms begin gradually, but they build up. They get worse over several minutes, and they can last up to 60 minutes. So some of the aura examples of an aura are visual phenomena. You can see various shapes, bright spots, flashes of light. I can close my eyes and I'll see patterns of light patterns going around. You can have vision loss. You can have pins and needle sensations in an arm or a leg, weakness or numbness in your face or on one side of your body, and difficulty speaking. So those are prodrome and aura. Well, what do you do? If you start to feel a migraine, you start to have some of the prodrome, to have some of those effects, take a break and step away from whatever you're doing if it's possible. Now, obviously, you can't always do that, but if you can, get away from whatever you're doing, turn off the lights, relax in a dark, quiet room, sleep if you can. I don't know about you, but in my house, I cannot get rid of all the light. It doesn't matter if it's dark and I've gotten rid of all the light that's coming in from outside. I've got lights on my microwave, lights on my clock. If I move the wrong way, I can see that my phone is lit up. So I use a sleep mask, particularly, I use it every night, but particularly if I'm having a migraine attack or a headache of any kind and I need to get into that darkness, I put this on. This is it's an MZ00, and I got it at Amazon. I think it was $13. It's got nice little indentions where your eyes go. A lot of times you'll get a sleep mask and you open your eyes and they're just smashed down with the mask. So this allows you to open your mouth, open your eyes, and it's got a really great adjustable strap. So I love using that. Also comes, most of them do, also comes with earplugs. So if you can't get to where it's totally quiet, if you have kids, I have to say I didn't love having a 2-story house, but what I did like about it was if I did have a migraine when the kids were small, I could go upstairs and I could get away from the noise. Not leaving them by themselves. I'd have to wait until Rich got home, but that was one thing that I could do. Diffuse lavender or serenity. Don't put it right next to your bed. Don't put that diffuser right next to your bed because the aroma might cause you to have nausea or vomiting. So either put it across the room, put it in another room. If you have a standard master bedroom with a bathroom off to the side, put it in the bathroom. You'll still get the effects of those oils. You might even diffuse lavender and peace together. Often that's a good way to just relax and calm down. So mostly you want dark and quiet and to be able to relax. Sleep if you can. You can't often sleep. I've had migraines that I couldn't sleep at all when I had it. Try some temperature therapy. You can apply hot or cold compresses to your head or neck. The heat you can use to relax tense muscles. You might put some deep blue rub on your shoulders and your neck, and then put a heating pad or one of these neck. It's a neck. This is from Earth Therapeutics, and it's a neck wrap. Just put it in the microwave, and you could put peppermint, past tense, or wintergreen on this, or deep blue oil. Stick it in the microwave, heat it up, wrap it around your neck. I like cold when I have a migraine, so I have these little ice packs. They're very small, go right over my forehead. I wrap them in a cotton dish towel, and on that dish towel, I can put peppermint, past tense, or wintergreen, wrap it around this, and then put it on my head. And it really, ice dulls the sensation of pain. So it's a good thing to be able to use. And here's the caffeinated beverage. Drink a caffeinated beverage. In small amounts, caffeine can relieve migraine pain in the early stages, and it does tend to enhance the effects of acetaminophen and aspirin. So, you know, a lot of people probably do things like take Excedrin, which I don't agree with. Excedrin has aspirin, acetaminophen, and caffeine in it, and you can take it every 4 hours. And we'll get to why I don't like doing that in just a little bit. Sleep well. When I went to the neurologist, when I finally broke down and went to a neurologist, I'd had a migraine for 6 months. I was working, I had church callings. On Saturdays, I had to get keep my house clean and get my grocery shopping done, all of the things that we do to keep our life in order. And I wasn't sleeping well because I was in pain. And I visited my primary care physician, and I asked her if they could do a scan. And she said, sure, that the insurance company wouldn't cover the scan without me first seeing a neurologist. So I went to the neurologist, and the first thing he did was a sleep study. And it turned out I was sleeping pretty well considering, but I slept on my back, and that meant I didn't breathe well. So the only thing, he had two things for me to do. One was learn to sleep on my side. And the other one was he said, what time do you have to be at work? And I said, between 7 and 7:30. What time do you get up? Between 5 and 5:30. He said, I want you in bed by 9:30 p.m. every single night. And he said, you'll see a difference. And I did. I saw a difference in my headaches. I saw a difference in my weight. I lost 20 pounds in a month. I don't think that's going to happen to everybody. It has never happened to me again. But he said one of the reasons that we get migraines is that estrogen gets stored in our fat cells. So if you can lose the fat, then you have one of those triggers gone from your system. So that was what seemed to work, was sleeping well. Establish regular sleep hours. Check your medications. Be sure that you don't have a medication that you take at bedtime that has caffeine in it or something that might keep you awake. Unwind at the end of the day. Turn off your electronics. We all know these things. Get rid of those electronics an hour before you're going to go to sleep. You can read a book. You can listen to music. You can meditate. I like to read and have a cup of chamomile tea with a drop of Roman chamomile oil in it. Minimize the distractions. Again, I talked about having the 2-story house and being able to get away from the sound of the kids. Nowadays, we have apps for sounds. You can listen to anything from a babbling brook to rain to the ocean. And the one that I particularly like, I call it night sounds. And it's just the sound of frogs and crickets chirping like I was sleeping out in the open. It's very calming and soothing to me. Another way that don't try so hard to sleep. Well, one of the ways that I found that helps me with this is because, you can lie there and you can think, okay, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. And if you've got a headache, it's real easy to just get into that trap. Oh, my head hurts and I can't sleep. So I start counting backwards from 1,000. And I'll tell you, I've never gotten below 500 that I know of. And now, as soon as I start doing that, I can feel my muscles start to relax. It's like I sink into the mattress. My head sinks into my pillow because it's kind of like the oils. When I smell them, if I smell serenity, cedarwood, it makes me relax because I know it's going to help me sleep. It's helped me to sleep in the past. So I've got my diffuser going and I'm counting backwards and I just start to relax into the bed. And then before I know it, I'm asleep. So don't try so hard to sleep. Do something that will distract you from that. And we have had lots and lots of sleep classes. Here are some of the top oils to use for sleep. Serenity, or the Serenity soft gels, cedarwood, lavender, clary sage, vetiver, frankincense, copaiba, or the copaiba soft gels, melissa, petitgrain, sandalwood, bergamot, the adaptive capsules, and Roman chamomile. They all work really well. I take 2 Serenity soft gels, 2 copaiba soft gels, an adaptive capsule, and I also take this, which is called Super Calm. And that's another thing that I get from good old Amazon. If you can't get it there, it may not be able to be found. And sorry, I got to turn my phone on to see all the ingredients. The only thing that it has in it that is in any of these other things that I take before I go to sleep, there is passion flower in the Serenity soft gels, but this has vitamin B6, magnesium, ashwagandha, hawthorn berry, passion flower, hop extract, valerian root, and melatonin. And you take 2 of them about an hour before bed, and it's really made a huge difference along with my oils that I use. Eat wisely. Isn't this funny? All the things that we're supposed to do to stay healthy. if we do these things, they can help us control, and they all support our body. So eating habits can influence your migraines. Be consistent, eat at the same time each day. Don't skip meals. Fasting increases the risk of migraines. So if you are a migraine sufferer or my mother used to call them sick headaches. So a bad headache sufferer, and you're doing intermittent fasting, you might consider trying something else in order to control your weight, or for whatever reason that you're doing the intermittent fasting, because fasting does increase the risk of migraines. Keep a food journal. That will help you to identify any food triggers that you might have. And once you've identified those food triggers, avoid them. And some of the ones that typically trigger migraines are aged cheese, chocolate, caffeine, and alcohol. So that aged cheese, I love. I love aged cheese, and I like chocolate. I like chocolate candy. I'm not much of it. I don't like chocolate ice cream or chocolate cake so much, but I enjoy having some chocolate candy every now and then. So you want to avoid those foods that trigger those. Exercise. During physical activity, we all know this, our bodies release certain chemicals that send pain signals to our brain. And these chemicals help alleviate depression, and I don't think I said that right, that block pain signals to our brain. These chemicals also help alleviate anxiety and depression, and those two conditions can make migraines worse. So choose any exercise you enjoy. If you need to talk to your doctor about it, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Walking, swimming, cycling, yoga, all good choices. Let Becky teach you how to do Feldenkrais so you can learn to move in a way that is not painful to your body. But remember to ease into it, because vigorous exercise can trigger a migraine. So don't go run a marathon and try to win it. Running a marathon might be fine if you've trained, but don't go out and start running a marathon immediately and try to win it, because that just might trigger a migraine or a headache for you. Manage stress, a huge one. Stress and migraines often go hand in hand, and you can't avoid it. We all have stress every day, but we can keep it under control. I love simplify your life. Don't look for ways to squeeze more activities or chores into your day. Find ways to spread those things out during your week so you're not doing too much in one day. Manage your time wisely. Update your to-do list every day. Delegate. If you've got kids, there are things they can do to help you. Husbands, there are things that they can do to help. Divide large projects into manageable chunks. Take a break. Stretch. Take a walk. Meditate. Go outside. Just go outside and breathe the fresh air and take your shoes off and walk in the grass. Adjust your attitude. Something we talk about a lot. Stay positive. And I know for young mothers, sometimes that's a very difficult thing to do. You've got your kids running around, making noise, throwing toys everywhere, and disrupting themselves and their brothers and sisters. And it's not going to last forever, but it's going to last for a while. If they're young kids, you know they're going to be around for a while. So think about how happy you are when you see them enjoying themselves. If you've got a child that swims and loves to swim, think about how happy you are to see them enjoying themselves in the pool. Think about your son playing or daughter playing baseball and how happy that makes them, or dancing or singing, anything that they like to do, playing a musical instrument, learning, reading. Just be happy about what's going on in your life. Use positive affirmations. That will help you to get through that. I like to do those in the morning and in the evening before bed. Enjoy yourself. Do something you enjoy for at least 15 minutes every day. I'm going to encourage you on your joy list, because this is such a natural way to combat stress. Generally, our joy lists have 30 things that help us to that we want to do that don't cost us any money, and 30 things that will cost us money that we want to do. Well, add 30 things that you can do for 15 minutes every day. Even if it's just read a couple of chapters in a book, go for a short walk, do some stretches. If you enjoy those things, do some yoga, do some meditation. If you enjoy those things, do them every day. Meditate every day. It's relaxing. Focus on your deep breathing for 10 minutes a day. That'll help you to relax your muscles. You can relax your muscles as you go. So these are great ways to help avoid having migraines or headaches. Take your vitamins. How many times do we say this when we do a doTERRA class? Every day. Lifelong vitality has been proven to bring relief from pain and to help improve mood. So take them every day. The healthier you are when you get a migraine, the easier it's going to be to end it. So an attack.
Definitely had a lot of reduction in headaches after taking LOV.
It's amazing, isn't it, Leanne?
Yeah, it is.
It really is amazing. So when I went to the neurologist, I did not have pain on one side of my head. I had it on both sides. Nowadays, I use past tense for that. I put it on the top of my head. I put it on my temples, right here at the front of my ears, behind my ears, and up the back of my neck. And I rub it in. If I've got throbbing pain or pulsating pain, I will put peppermint or frankincense, and this is where I told you it connects right to that nerve, that, okay, I'm not going to remember the name of it, trigeminal nerve, right up on the roof of your mouth. Hold it there, and you can repeat that as often as you want. It's a natural substance. It's not going to hurt you to do that. For sensitivity to light and sound, I use sandalwood around my eyes, over my brow bone, all the way around and down across the orbital bone. Sandalwood is a truly very woody smell. It's not sweet. It's not cloying. So to me, to put that on, it doesn't bother the nausea that I get, which I use Digestin for. If you get to the point where you're vomiting, you're going to want to use the oil and rub it on your abdomen. If you can get to that Digestin before the vomiting starts, then the soft gels will work really well. The peppermint oil works great for nausea. And you can use the oil or the soft gels or the beadlets. Another thing you can do is put a beadlet in your mouth and suck on it. You're sucking against the roof of your mouth, and that peppermint's going to pop and go up and help to ease the inflammation around that nerve. Ginger. You can put peppermint and ginger together in a glass of water. One or both of them will really help your stomach to begin to ease that feeling of nausea or vomiting. So complications, and here's where we're going to talk about taking too much Excedrin or something else. When I first saw the neurologist, he wanted to know what I was taking since I'd had this headache for 6 months. And the first thing he said to me was, anybody who has chronic headache, he treated as a migraine. He didn't care if it was a sinus headache, a cluster headache, stress. You're always going to have tension. You're going to have tension headaches along with migraines most of the time. So he treated them all as migraines. And he asked me what I was taking. And I was taking hydrocodone every day, 3 or 4 times a day. It can trigger serious medication overuse headaches. And he called them rebound headaches because it wears off and the pain is still there. All it's done is mask the pain. And it doesn't matter if it's an opioid or if it's Advil, and Tylenol or aspirin, particularly if it's mixed with caffeine, then if you take those every day to get rid of your headache, it's just going to cause a medication overuse headache. Especially if you take them for more than 14 days in a month. And if you watch TV at all, you know that that's kind of the breakdown point for chronic migraine, is if you have 14 days of migraine a month. And if you take Imitrex or Maxalt for more than 9 days a month, it can cause a medication overuse headache. And what it does is the medications stop relieving the pain and begin to cause the headaches. So then you use more pain medication, and then that continues the cycle. It's just like an addiction cycle with opioids, where somebody has gone to the pain doctor from an injury and they've put them on OxyContin or codeine or hydrocodone, and they take it and it relieves it for a while. Then they end up having to take more and more to relieve their pain. And then eventually they're addicted to it, and they're addicted physically as well as because of the pain. Now, what the way my neurologist broke this cycle with me was he put me on an anti-seizure drug, which I do not recommend. He put me on Topamax. He asked me when I went back for my second visit, what did I think about the stupid drug? Because that's kind of what it was called at that time on the internet. It makes you have brain fog. You don't think as clearly or as quickly as you usually do. And I built up from 50 milligrams a day to 200 milligrams a day. I got rid of my migraine, and it stopped me having them unless I had an extreme stressor, like my daughter's wedding reception. And I didn't get rebounds. You know, it just stopped them. I didn't take it for very long. You have to wean yourself off of anything like that. If you've never had a seizure and you take a seizure drug, it can cause you to have seizures if you go off of it cold turkey. So you want to be very careful about taking anything like that. Nowadays, the only thing I use is deep blue, peppermint, past tense, digestin, and sandalwood. I may not be able to, I might be out of commission for a day, but I'm in the dark and I'm using those things, and I know that it's not going to cause any rebound complications whatsoever, and I am going to feel better, and it helps me to manage the pain. So I would rather do that than take any of the, even the over-the-counter drugs. So here's some oils to help. There's a Migraine Protocol where you use a roller bottle, a 10 ml, and you put 2 drops of all of these oils. Except for lavender, you only use one drop. Please feel free to take screenshots of any of this, and you top it up with fractionated coconut oil, and you apply it to the back of your neck, your forehead, your temples, jaws, and the cheeks, and up here in front of each ear. You can mix 2 drops of ginger with a tablespoon of sea salt, add it to a quart of cool water, soak a cloth in the water, and apply it as a compress. And that's for nausea. And that really helps. When the compress becomes warm, then you just want to soak it in that cool water again. And again, for faster relief, use a drop of frankincense under the tongue or on the roof of the mouth, or peppermint on the roof of the mouth. You can do a gel cap with 2 drops bergamot, lemon, marjoram, and black pepper. I think the majority of this is because of the citrus oils. You're going to have limonene, which is counteracting the inflammation. So I would say, if you like, you can, instead of doing the lemon or the bergamot, you could use green mandarin, and it has the highest concentration of limonene of any of the oils. So that would help you very well. Each night, take 2 DDR prime, 2 deep blue polyphenols, and 2 copaibas. DDR prime I spread out during the day. I take it twice a day. But the other 2, the deep blue polyphenols and the copaiba, I take at bedtime. Diane, thank you for that, for telling me how well that worked for you, because taking those deep blue polyphenols at bedtime has been a game changer for me for headaches and for other kinds of pain, joint pain. And here are some oils that you can use for different kinds of head tension and discomfort. If it's in your sinus area, you can use peppermint. If it's in and around the eye, use frankincense. Again, you can do it on the roof of your mouth. If it's tension, past tense is great for that. Just like I said, put it on the back of your neck, the top of your head, on your temples, behind your ears. And discomfort accompanied with stomach upset and sensitivity to light or common migraine, that deep blue is just, it's a game changer for everybody. So a little bit about post-stroke, and I'm going to hurry because I'm running out of time here. After a migraine attack, you can feel drained. I usually do. I said I'd be out of commission for a day because I'm using my oils to help support the pain. You can feel drained and washed up for a day afterwards. I'm going to step away here for just a second because we're getting a storm and my awning is about to get torn off my trailer. Just a minute. Thank you, Dad. Sorry about that. That doesn't usually happen this time of day. Some people report feeling elated. I could relate to that because, yeah, you feel great. You're no longer in pain. And sudden head movement might bring on the pain again briefly. So peppermint, wild orange, past tense, balance, good things to use. And again, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And if you have any of these signs or symptoms, please see your doctor immediately or go to the emergency room. If you have an abrupt, severe headache like a thunderclap, if you have headache with fever, a stiff neck, confusion, seizures, double vision, numbness or weakness in any part of the body, could all be a sign of a stroke or encephalitis. My husband had encephalitis and he had headache with a fever, stiff neck, confusion. He developed seizures after we got him to the hospital. We thought he had the flu. He'd been, headachy and fever. If you have a headache after a head injury, if you have a chronic headache that's worse after coughing, exertion, straining, or sudden movement, and if you have new headache pain after the age of 50. Strive for balance in your life. Living with migraines is a daily challenge. Making healthy lifestyle choices can do nothing but help. You can ask your friends and loved ones for support if you're feeling anxious and depressed. You can try Adaptive, the kit, which has the oil, the touch oil, and the capsules, which you use all together. Copaiba, Lavender Serenity, Serenity Soft Gels. If those don't do the trick, please consider joining a support group or seeking counseling. Believe in your ability to take control of the pain. You can do it. And here's some support groups that you can find online. I particularly like Miles for migraine. They have community groups and meetups, and they're in your area, and you can find lots of help in those community groups. And if you're not enrolled or you know somebody who, oops, did I not get that one in here? There we go. This is the relief kit, the wellness relief kit from doTERRA. It has a PV of 60 and its wholesale price is $75. So they can enroll with this. this month, if they were to enroll with this and maybe get the sleep or the mind and mood kit as well, then they would qualify for, you or they would qualify for the $50 doTERRA dollars, and you would qualify for a gift from Sherry and a gift from Shalene. And you can see that in this particular kit, everything we talked about, the deep blue oil, the deep blue rub, the deep blue polyphenol complex. We didn't talk about Aroma Touch, but that's a great one too for relief. The copaiba, wintergreen, turmeric. We didn't talk about that either, but that's great for inflammation. Past tense. And then you get some extra little things with it. And all of these oils here, the Aroma Touch, Helichrysum, copaiba, the copaiba soft gels, the turmeric dual chamber capsules, and the deep blue polyphenol capsules, you can add those on to your kit and they're 20% off. So they're a lot cheaper to get it that way. It's 3 kits, and once you choose to get it, you get the first kit the first month, the second one the next month, and the third one the next month, and each one of them is $75 and 60 PV. So again, strive for balance, and thanks for listening. Does anybody have questions?
It's Becky. I was wondering if you could post a link for your talk tonight for the recording.
Yes, I sure will.
Thank you,
Becky. And I'm gonna, anybody else, any other questions? Any comments?
It was good. Lots of great information. Thank you.
It's a lot of information. I didn't want to overwhelm anybody, but you just.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Cindy. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Grateful to have some visitors with us tonight. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to contact me if you think of something afterwards. We're going to have our little business minute now next week. This week we don't have class, right? I think that's our week off because it's the last Tuesday of the month, and Shalene decided we needed a week off. So we don't have a class next week, but we'll get back together the first Tuesday in August, and hope to see you all again soon. If you want to stay on for the business meeting, Leanne's going to teach us some great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Hey, Kathy.
Good night, everybody. I was trying to figure out how to, my phone's not working right.
Oh,
Good to see
Take
you.
me off. Sorry.
that's okay.
Is there a way for you to take me off? My phone got.
Oh, you can't seem to,
it's got water on it. I gotta take it out of the case.
let's see.
It's not responding the way it's supposed to.
I can take you out.
Thank you. I was just washing the floors. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, it's just us. Marilyn, are you still here?
Yep.
I am.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Okay, so are you staying here for the business part?
I do need to leave in a little bit, but I can stay for the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's real quick. I was asking because Lee already saw the she didn't, well, I guess I didn't show it. So I was just gonna share the bingo class that
Oh, great.
that I created. Yeah. So I created the content, and then John filled in all the pretty pictures, which was awesome because he is really a pro at PowerPoint and I am not. It says that screen sharing is disabled.
Oh, that's not